Welcome to this introduction to Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA, a scientific approach to understanding and shaping behavior. In this brief video, we'll highlight concepts covered to develop a basic understanding to ABA, including what ABA is, who benefits from it, and how it can be applied ethically and effectively today. So, what is ABA? When most people hear the term, they picture a child sitting at a table with flashcards, earning treats or tokens for hours at a time, or they imagine restraint and control. However, neither of these situations fully captures what ABA is or how it's practiced today. This example is really just a small glimpse of what might be addressed during discrete trial training, or DTT, which itself is only one tiny component of what can happen in an ABA session. ABA treatment plans should be individualized to the needs of the learner. Modern ABA incorporates diverse teaching methodologies, including naturalistic teaching, pivotal response training, and play-based interventions tailored to individual needs and preferences. The second example is restraint and serves as misconception number one. That ABA is heavily focused on physical restraints. Modern-day ABA prioritizes positive reinforcement strategies. Restraint is something that is rarely used in ethical practice today, if at all. And when it is, it only happens after receiving written consent from the caregiver/guardian, and only in extreme, clearly defined situations. When deemed necessary, must be thoroughly documented, approved by guardians, and always paired with significant reinforcement and the teaching of replacement behaviors. It's implemented solely by professionals certified in nonviolent crisis intervention, and even then, it's considered a last resort, meaning every other option has been explored and there is a clear and immediate risk of bodily harm. To be clear, reaching that point doesn't happen overnight. It often takes days, weeks, or even months of careful planning, team meetings, and discussion. Side note, if the place you're receiving services from uses restraint as a first response, you're probably not dealing with safe or ethical people. That's a huge red flag, especially if you're never allowed to see what the restraint looks like. Clinics and different organizations vary on their restraint policies, so it is important to ask about it if you have concerns. Though it's not the official definition, applied behavior analysis basically focuses on defining behavior clearly, making sure it's observable and measurable, and understanding how it's influenced by the environment. At its core, ABA follows the three-term contingency, which helps us understand why behavior happens and how to influence it. Antecedent, what happens before a behavior. Behavior, the observable action. Consequence, what happens after the behavior, which increases or decreases the chance of it happening again. Let's see an example. A student sees a bag of cookies on a shelf. Antecedent. The child asks the parent for a cookie. Behavior. The mother gives them a cookie. Consequence. Similarly, in a workplace, when a supervisor assigns a project. Antecedent. An employee completes it early. Behavior. And receives recognition from their team. Consequence. ABA has long been a well-established and widely used intervention for individuals with autism and developmental disabilities. For decades, particularly from the 1990s through the 2010s, ABA was considered the gold standard and the most widely recommended treatment. This was largely due to its strong evidence base and formal endorsements from organizations like the U.S. Surgeon General and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. For example, the 1999 U.S. Surgeon General's report on mental health stated, 30 years of research demonstrated the efficacy of applied behavioral methods in reducing inappropriate behavior and increasing communication, learning, and appropriate social behavior. Presently, ABA remains one of the most extensively researched and evidence-based approaches to behavior change. The field of autism intervention has expanded in recent years, and there has been growing recognition and use of additional models that include developmental and naturalistic approaches, offering families a broader range of choices based on individual needs. Like any other scientific discipline that has been around for decades, ABA is sometimes misunderstood, criticized, or implemented incorrectly, which contributes to the concerns raised by some advocates and communities. ABA has evolved significantly since its inception. For perspective, when ABA was developing in the 1960s, lead paint was still widely used in homes, smoking was recommended to pregnant women, and physical punishment was standard practice in most American schools. Some will say that ABA providers ignore emotions and internal states. And while it is true that ABA providing professionals are trained to only act on what is observable and measurable, it doesn't mean that we are not still humans. Just because we don't allow internal events to dictate the direction of an intervention does not mean that we do not consider them. For instance, an analyst may focus on the behavior of a student frequently sneaking food out of a kitchen, rather than the feeling of being hungry. It's using the physical result of an internal emotion or private action to inform the behavioral environment. While it's true that stakeholders play a significant role in treatment planning and goal setting, this is largely due to the fact that many learners have limited ability to communicate their preferences directly and, in some cases, are under the legal age of consent. However, client assent is continuously monitored, and efforts are made to ensure the individual remains engaged and comfortable with the intervention process. Additionally, the goals and interests of the learner are regularly reevaluated to ensure that the individual's preferences are honored and that they remain an active participant in their own care whenever possible. Let's return to our previous example. The student saw the bag of cookies on a shelf, and then the child asks the parent for the cookie. The mother gives them the cookie. If the student's behavior of asking for the cookie increases, then the behavior has been reinforced. To better understand what ABA practice looks like, let's follow two practitioners through a typical workday: Maya, a behavior technician, and Jasmine, a supervising BCBA. Maya starts her day by reviewing client programs and preparing materials. She organizes the treatment plan, visual supports, gathers potential reinforcers, and data collection materials. Meanwhile, Jasmine reviews data from the previous week, making program adjustments based on client progress and parent feedback. Maya prepares specifically for each client. For Elijah, a visual schedule, PEX icons, a token board with some toys including a dinosaur, his current interest, and stimuli for acquisition skill trials. For Sophia, she brings data collection materials, tools for cooking activity, and community outing materials. Maya's first session is with Elijah, working on communication skills. Before beginning, Maya reviews the treatment notes and assembles session materials, greets Elijah warmly, and conducts a preference assessment, then reviews the visual schedule and expectations. During their session, Maya embeds learning opportunities within play and everyday activities. When Elijah reaches for a toy dinosaur, Maya pauses briefly, creating an opportunity for communication and models appropriate language. When Elijah says, "Dino," Maya responds with natural reinforcement, "Dinosaur. Here's the dinosaur you want," and models language expansion. When Elijah spontaneously comments, "Big teeth," Maya celebrates this initiation and extends the conversation. Throughout the session, Maya takes data using a based on the program descriptions on her tablet. Between activities, Maya offers Elijah breaks and choices, respecting his need for self-regulation. She notices his fidgeting increases and says, "You are moving a lot. Do you want to take a break or have squeezes?" Elijah chooses squeezes with his picture card, and Maya provides squeezes with a squish pillow before transitioning to the next activity. At one point, when asked to clean up the toy dinosaurs before moving to a new activity, Elijah becomes visibly agitated and begins striking Maya on the arm. After determining the function was escape maintained, Maya calmly follows the behavior plan using extinction, as in, she does not allow aggression to delay or remove the cleanup demand. Instead, she says, "I see you're upset, but it's cleanup time. First, clean up, then you can choose another toy after you earn your tokens." Maya then prompts functional communication. "What do you want, Elijah?" When Elijah gestures toward the toy, Maya models, "You want to play with the dinosaur." "Okay, first clean up, then more time with the toy," using the PREMAC principle to teach that preferred activities come after task completion. Maya calmly ignores the striking, redirects him to the cleanup task, and supports him in using functional communication, helping Elijah return to task engagement. While Maya continues working with Elijah, Jasmine arrives for supervision. She observes the session unobtrusively for 15 minutes, takes notes on treatment fidelity, and observes how well Maya engages with the client, identifies moments of effective practice to reinforce with Maya, notes areas for potential program modifications, provides in-the-moment feedback when necessary, then fades back once Maya regains momentum. After the session, Jasmine meets briefly with Maya to review the session. Between clients, both professionals complete case documentation. During a team lunch meeting, staff discuss upcoming client transitions and finalizes session notes, indicating goals addressed and progress made, numerical data, and graphs her work. Maya's afternoon session is with Sophia, a 16-year-old focusing on independence skills. The session takes place in the community. They practice grocery shopping with a budget, work on appropriate social interactions with store employees, and practice using public transportation safely. Throughout the community-based session, Maya collects data discreetly using a smartwatch for interval recording of independent navigation, and she takes data on novel situations. Later in the session, the two complete a cooking activity using purchased ingredients. Maya uses various teaching methods in order to teach skills including task analysis, prompt fading, and using reinforcements that can be naturally maintained. Sessions vary quite a bit depending on a wide range of factors, depending on whether they are in the community, in a clinic, in the home, or in school. Either way, the outcome is to teach socially appropriate behavior skills that contribute to the likely improvement of the recipient's life. There are a wide range of ways ABA can be used. After Maya completes her day, she submits her data and gets ready to go home for the day. Well, that's all we've got for today. Of course, the world of applied behavior analysis is incredibly vast, so we were only able to scratch the surface. But check back soon for more videos where we'll keep exploring all things ABA. And hey, if you like this one, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your respectful comments down below. We'd love to keep the conversation going.